Hey, Rebelia. Just popping in to give a reaction of the Packer game. Unfortunately, we took another one on the chin. Uh, the Packers came out and they beat us. Again, no excuses. We didn't come out the way that I thought we were. A lot of us thought we were after the bye. There is some good things, and let's just go through them. So, first of all, turnovers. You cannot have turnovers against a good team and expect to overcome them. If you have one or two, that's one thing, but um, timely turnovers at the wrong time, Koski fumbling a punt or after kick. Payo time. Hey, what's up, man? Um, yeah, me and my brother Payo time. We still have the faith. A lot of our Remelia have the faith. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. Uh, you know, um, I'm just going to break it down like this. Hey, yes, you did finally caught me in live Pale Time. Thank you, man, for coming in. Um, I'm just going to explain it to you like this. So, we at the beginning of the season, we were excited. We're still excited, but we got Matthew Stafford. He was going to make the difference in the world. We at that time we had a healthy Cam Akers. We had Robert Woods. We were loaded and ready to go. We started off wonderful, 7-1. Cooper Cup is setting records, Jerry Rice type numbers. Everything was as advertised. But beginning of the season, Cam Akers went down. We were a good team, so we had to take it on the chin, and we got Sony Michelle, and they filled in nicely. And their production has helped, and we have a decent running game. We just don't use it enough. But Cam Akers is a difference maker, and we're missing him, so that's okay. Teams have injuries, but that's one thing. And then Robert Woods going out right in the middle when we're starting to implement him more in the offense, and he does a lot more things than catch the ball. He sets the attitude. Him and Cooper Cup are some of the best receivers when it comes to being professionals. They do everything. They don't complain. They're not divas. They're high talent, skill players, some of the best receivers in the league, and they set the tone, and we love having him here. But Robert Woods was a big blow going into the 49er game. Again, these are not excuses. These are facts. Losing Cooper Cup, losing Robert Woods was a big blow to us right before the 49er game. We got OBJ. We thought that was going to be cream on top, and it was going to be just a luxury. And after we got rid of Deshaun Jackson, and it turns out now we need him. And so this last game, we started using him more. It's just an overall. Just remember, this is an overall. This is not the team makeup that we thought we were going to have. Cam Akers isn't there. Robert Woods isn't there. Those are two big blows in our offense. We're adjusting. Matthew Stafford's still adjusting to the team. He looks to be banged up. His back seemed to be bothering him. There's no excuses though. If you're well enough to play, you're well enough to win, or as I always say, if you're healthy enough to play, you're healthy enough to win. So, but he hasn't looked right the last few weeks. He's been inaccurate, which is not his thing. Normally he's accurate. He started to come on late in the game. Those are the good things. Our deep passes started to come back in. When they knew that we had a pass, we still were able to connect. Van Jefferson is still going in his progress to be a better receiver or be a more complete receiver, but he's still a young guy. And OBJ, he got some balls thrown to him. He got a touchdown too. So the long ball late started to roll. We just have to start out strong. We have to have a complete game. Even when we had Cooper Cup, I keep saying Cooper Cup, Robert Woods with us, we hadn't still played a full complete game yet, even though we were 7-1. So I'm still looking forward to that. We still have that to look at. This team has lost 3 games in a row, which is very surprising, but there's reasons why. And they're not excuses, it's just facts. When you extract key players, the team has an adjustment. We're hoping that guys step up. The defense has played okay. They played really good this last Packer game. You wouldn't know it by the score, but the Packers with the turnovers and mishaps, they had 3 drives inside our 30, and I believe we held them to 13 points. I believe they got a touchdown and 2 field goals, but our defense was playing really good. If you look at that, I mean, what with Aaron Rodgers, and the receiver, they do a good job of moving their best receiver away from Jalen Ramsey, and our other guys had to step up, and they didn't. There was even a pass play where we could have intercepted it, and it just went off of his hands. But you cannot do that. You cannot have turnovers and then let them start inside your 30 and expect to have success. But we made a valiant comeback. The Koski play killed us. I don't know why we can't find a guy. We have to keep putting Robert Woods out there, which we need him. We don't need him to get hurt. Catching kick returns and things like that. We need him on the offensive side because we're a little limited right now with our receiving core. Um, how weird is that to say? Because we were loaded in the beginning of the year, but what it is, we can't find a guy that can catch a ball, see somewhere to go, and get some yards. I don't know why that is. The Koski play killed us. That's bush league stuff. That's stuff that you get a guy from the arena league or something, and you fill him in, and that's what he looked like. He was a deer in the headlights, man. You gotta, props to him. There's better. Hopefully, there's better plays ahead for him. But I was so upset with that, man. I was like, really? Come on. This is the Jeff Fisher Rams. These guys like this that play like this. You're not ready to play for our team if you're not going to be able to make plays, because we expect you, if we put you on the field, we expect you to perform. And that's what this culture of this Rams team is. We're not going to go back to the old team of just keeping guys along. No, if you got to perform, man, or you're not going to be on there. Um, yeah, Pale. We have to put Cup out there to return kick returns because we don't have anybody. I mean, look, I'm not a guy that thinks he knows everything, but just in my opinion, if I'm coach, and I love Coach McVay, he's taking some shots, but I remember where we were before Coach McVay. So let's just all understand that. When Coach McVay took over, it was amazing. He breathed life back into this franchise. We couldn't even win. We couldn't even have winning seasons. We were like the Shanahan 49ers where, they hover around 500. They have all these expectations and they never do anything. They're coming on now, but, for the most part, the 49ers and Shanahan have had losing records. Yeah, I miss Bones too, man. I hated to see him lose. Peo, that's a good point. Our special team since he's left has been pathetic. Just make no bones about it. I know our guys are trying. Our guys are trying. Can't even get it out because this is so upsetting to me. But this team here is a Super Bowl contender. The special teams coach, I mean, why do guys have to block somebody in the back? Move your feet, get in front of somebody, hit somebody. To me, that's an attitude besides coaching. We'll get a stupid penalty and have like an 8-yard return. I'm like, if you're gonna have a penalty, at least let the guy break one, Golly, we'll have like a 5-6 yard return and there's a penalty and will put us in our own, down at our own 5 or something. Yeah, make no bones about it. Yeah, we miss him. I miss Legatron. He's hit and miss with the Cowboys too. Gay came in good for as far as our kicking game, but yeah, this team has so much more potential than what we're showing. These last 3 games, I'm not going to say they're aberration, but there's a reason why we lost these 3 games, and we can fix that. We have the talent to do it. For instance, I'm gonna use our hated rival, the 49ers, as an example. They started out 3-5. They were the best 3-5 team in NFL history because they're not a 3-5 team with all that talent they've stocked up. And look, now they're starting to win. They beat us, and they match up with us good, and that's what it is. We roll out of bed and we play the Seahawks good, and we can beat them. And before this year, we could beat the Cardinals the same way. It just sometimes it happens, but we can start getting on a roll. We just need to get our niche now with OBJ getting implemented more. Von Miller's going to get comfortable. He's going to learn how to play with Donald. And these are not excuses. These are facts that are going to happen because we have talented players. Yeah, he's been a bright spot, Pale. I love Matt Gay. He's very trustworthy. and it's good for our kicking game. Um, but we're missing Johnny Mutt. And I know my brother Pale Time said, Johnny Mutt. Jacob Harris. I had huge expectations for the rookie. I thought he was going to be able to come in and be another weapon, just line him up and have him burn somebody. And we lost all of our top prospects. Jake Don't Fake the Funk, was a decent fill-in running back, and he got hurt, and Tutu Atwell, we had big expectations for him because he was going to be in there with Deshaun Jackson, and it looked like maybe that this level was a little too big for him. It looked like he wasn't ready to come in and play. With all that speed, it's a shame. But then he ended up getting hurt and didn't even get a chance to do anything this year. So maybe the injury is not a good thing, but maybe it'll help him, catch fire and want to do something next year. Um, hey, what's up, Niner Sickness, my Niner brother? You guys got another win, man. You guys are one game behind us. Wow, that's amazing turnaround. But you guys, we all know that the Niners are not a 3-5 team. They're better than that, and they just haven't been able to put it together against other teams. But yeah, they're one game behind us. We got to keep winning. But it's not just about the Niners. We were trying to catch the Cardinals, and so in the NFL this year is really weird. Teams look at the Jets. The Jets rose up again and they won last week, and so this NFC West. Let's just say it this way. We know the Rams things. With these last 3 games, but luckily we got out to that 7-1 cushion, and now we can right things. We hate to lose at all, but there's still time. This NFL, anyone could lose. Teams that look like they're high-powered teams will lose to a team. You're like scratching your head. This is the year that's weird. Yeah, Niner Sickness. So right now, Niner Sickness says the Rams play Jags. That's the easy win for you guys. Well, right now, we're kind of licking our wounds, man. I hope it is. Hopefully, we'll use the Jags as a springboard. But right now, we just need to get some confidence. It's something where we've killed ourselves these last 3 games. We haven't performed the way we should. We spot these teams like the Titans and Packers leads, and then on the way to trying to come back, we have a couple more miscues, and every team wants to not have miscues and turnovers, but when you do, you have to be able to overcome that. And this team has not shown that we can come back yet. So we need to do that. That's one thing that we need to do. But we have the tools to do it. That's the good news. We have the players that can do it. We just got to put it together. Even when we were 7-1, like I said before, we hadn't put it together for a full game yet. We've had flashes and we've had a quarter or two where we've got some points and did that, but we haven't had a full game where somebody just where we just run over a team and play a full game, complete game, even when we had Robert Woods. So we're still searching for the type of team that we're going to be. The play calling hasn't been great when it comes to the run game. We needed to use that more to take some pressure off of Stafford. In my opinion, we've leaned on Stafford too much the last few games. We need to get him opportunities where he can be successful, and then he starts getting a rhythm. Quarterbacks need a rhythm. This guy is a top 5 talent when it comes to arm capabilities and skill level. And he's shown that. If he's near the top of the league, I haven't looked at it today in passing yards and touchdowns. He's had some bad games, but those two long balls for Van Jefferson and OBJ were beautiful. We need more of that. Easy touchdowns. We need easy scores. Yeah, you know what, Niner Sickness, that matchup with the Niners at the end, man, that's gonna be something else. It was funny because when we lost Robert Woods, I was like, man, that's gonna be a tougher game than I thought now. Not that it's not a tough game even with him, but that was a big blow because we were gonna have our complement of guys, and we're gonna have OBJ had just signed, and maybe we're gonna do a trick play with OBJ here and there, and then Robert Woods goes down, and our guys are just like, "What?" And then you have this hungry Niner team, kind of like Rocky and Mr. T. We're 7-1 and looking good with all these players that we signed with Von Miller and OBJ, and I could hear the Survivor, Eye of the Tiger music in the background and when I'm saying this, and then you have this hungry Mr. T Niner team. Uh, that hadn't won at home all year. And the last time they won at home was against us last year. And we came out soft, to be blunt. Our guys weren't flying around. We looked like we weren't the Rams. We looked like we were uh, a weaker team that wasn't 7-1. So yeah, Peo, I think I'm gonna go to the Jags game, at SoFi. I miss it. I need our home cooking. I miss tailgating with the Romelia. I think I will go to that game. Um, yeah, but the Jags, they're terrible, but they teams rise up for us, and we haven't shown that we can hit back lately. um, Hey, William Blockson, thanks for coming in, man. Stubborn coach can't win because he's too young and impatient. Yeah, he's been stubborn, but I gotta say this. I'm still a McVay fan. Uh, I I um I remember, like I said, where we were before we got Sean McVay, and he's been a breath of fresh air. He's been one of the reasons why free agents want to come to Los Angeles. There's been a couple of free agents that they were looking at the Packers or the Niners or other teams, and they picked us because of the coaching staff, because of where we play. We play in Los Angeles, which was to me the mecca of sports on the West Coast. Uh, you know, um, there's nothing like playing in Los Angeles, man. One of the bigger markets. If you're a big name player, there's a lot of opportunities for you to make money after sports. And if you're a sports player and you're a great player here, it's amazing to be a player here. So I can see why they want to play here. But yeah, before McVay got here, um, we were the Jeff Fisher Rams, and we couldn't do anything. So it's kind of good that we're at 7-4 now, and a lot of people saying the sky is falling. No, just relax. The season is long. It's a weird season. Um, Anything can happen. We've already had two major injuries with Robert Woods and Cam Akers, and we're trying to get over that. So you have to overcome your injuries, and so we just have to adjust. And the good news is we have the players and talent to do that, and we have the coaching staff to do that. I mean, we gave up a lot of points last week against the Packers, but we can't give them the ball and inside our own 30 and expect to have a low scoring game or have them not score any points. Um, Niner Sickness says, Sean McVay wanted to coach the Niners because of the grandfather being part of the team. But the Niners decided on Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, Sean McVay has a lot of roots in coaching history, and yeah, the Niners have been a great franchise for so many years. It's one of the iconic franchises with the Bill Walsh Niners, and the thing that sucks is I just wish I'm glad that okay, let me just say it this way. I'm glad that we've had success. We've got to a Super Bowl. We've been to the division round last year. Every year of Sean McVay's coaching existence with the Rams, we've had a winning season. Um, but I wish we could be more accommodating when it comes to beating the Niners, so we could be more of a rivalry. I was at Disneyland yesterday, and there was a 49er guy. And I go, "Oh, not the 49ers," and he looked at me. We're laughing. And he's like, "Yeah, we're one game behind you." I go, "I know, man. Don't remind me." So it's all good times, man. We kid them because they haven't been able to make the playoffs or have a winning record, and then they kid us because they have us now 5 times in a row. Oh my God, that's so amazing that they can beat a good team like the Rams 5 times in a row, and then struggle against other teams. But that's the way the NFL is. It's amazing that can be that way. But yeah, that 49er game is is going to be something else, man. I look forward to it. And yeah, William, run the ball and we'll beat them. Yeah, we need to run the ball, and not only run the ball. You have a great point, but let's be physical. Physical. Let's get that old. You guys are probably too young for this, but that Olivia Newton-John song out there, physical. You got to be physical. I mean, you got to pull the guard and smash somebody. Don't let nobody get between you. I mean, if you have to bring in iconic Rams former head coach John Robinson, uh, who got to 2 championship games in the 80s, right in the middle of the 49ers heyday in 85 and 89. John Robinson was a master when it came to the running game. He came over from one of my favorite teams as well as the USC Trojans, who are the make no mistake, who are the other LA team that run. Haven't been good this year and the recent years, but make no mistake that USC is the team when it comes to Los Angeles college football. Um, that tradition. Ronnie Lott came from USC. So that, make no mistake about that. But if we have to bring him in as a consultant, because not just run the game, let's be physical. Let's knock some guys down. If you have on the we have my brother Niner Sickness in here. If we have a guy like a Bosa in there, and you have their linebackers are pretty fast. Let's smash them. Look for them. Knock them down. Hey, it's football. This is a contact sport. I haven't seen us do that. I haven't seen us pancake anybody. I haven't seen us. Let's get after it, man. I don't know what they need to do on that, but that's pretty basic to me. This team has been to a Super Bowl in the last few years, and we've been in the playoffs. Let's get physical as we get closer to the playoffs. We need to be more physical. It's just like in the NBA. They turns into half court offense, and you got to be physical, and you got to be your defense has to be up to snuff, and our defense has been playing better, but on offense, let's get physical with guys. That's one thing that we're missing with Robert Woods, because he was one of the blockers down the field for plays and jet sweeps and things like that. But we have to overcome all that. No, man, I'm not a youngster. Niner Sickness, I appreciate it, man. I've been around fans since '79, and I've seen the ups and downs, and man, I still remember the '79 Rams when they went to the Super Bowl against the Steelers. I remember old Cullen Bryant coming around. When the Rams, the thing about the Rams is we don't have a lot of hardware. We have one Super Bowl, and we have 2 NFL championships besides that, one in Cleveland, and we were the first team to win a championship in Los Angeles before the Lakers and Dodgers. A lot of people don't realize that because now they call it the Super Bowl, but it's the NFL championship, and we were the first Los Angeles pro franchise to win a championship in Los Angeles before the Raiders, before the Lakers, before the Dodgers. But we've had great teams. If you look at our history, if you look at the Bears, their best quarterbacks with that iconic franchise have not been that great. The Niners, you have Joe Montana, Steve Young, Jerry Rice. But look at the Rams all the way from their beginning. Crazy Legs Hirsch, Night Train Lane. We have iconic players. I mean, if you made up an all-time Rams team, it'd be up there with anybody. We had the Norm Van Brocklins back in the day. The 1951 Rams set a record with averaging 50 points a game. The first team to have their playoffs games televised. The first team to have their home games televised. Roman Gabriel, Kurt Warner, and receivers Isaac Bruce. Like I said, Crazy Legs Hirsch. On and on, Torrey Holt. We've had iconic players. At running back, we take no sidestep to anybody. Marshall Faulk, Eric Dickerson, in my opinion, probably the greatest running back in NFL history. A guy that took the Rams on his back to the NFC Championship game in 19. He took us on his back in the middle of the 49ers heyday to the NFC Championship, and guess who we had to face? The '85 Bears. So. And then you go to a defensive line, the fearsome foursome, Jack Youngblood, on and on, man. Now Aaron Donald, make no mistake. Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is a celebration of the Rams franchise because you got everybody in there. We're one of the teams that have one of the most players in the Hall of Fame period. So we got some more guys that are going to be going in pretty soon. Torrey Holt, Aaron Donald's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Hopefully, another guy. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Eric Dickerson, man, we should have never traded him. But at that time, the lady who shall be nameless, and traded him away and ended up taking our Rams to St. Louis. But that's another other thing. And but but yeah, it's very disappointing though the way we came out. We'll see what happens the next few games. I look for us to beat the Jaguars, and I think it'll be a springboard to us getting some momentum and playing the Cardinals and tough. And I think we're going to beat them in a shootout, and then we go from there. Let's see the Seahawks game. Hopefully they won't surprise us, but I see us winning that. I see us at least winning the 11 to 12 games. The Niner game is going to be tough. The Ravens game, for some reason, we don't play good against the Ravens. Hopefully we'll play better this year. Um, but Oh, I'm sorry, we might missed your question. Have you noticed, depending on the coin toss, Sean literally feels stumped. We don't score with the kickoff game ever. Kickoff game over. I haven't really noticed that stumped when it comes to the coin toss. We pretty much. I'm not sure what you mean there because what I've seen is when we win the toss, we just give it to the other team and then we have the ball for halftime. That's pretty basic on that one. But yeah, right now McVay, we're losing. We've lost 3 games in a row, so McVay's taking a lot of shots, and rightly so when it comes to some of the play calling. Um, we haven't ran as much as we should. This last game, we did get back to running. Yeah. But yeah, Niner sickness, man. Yeah, I'm older. Hopefully, I'm older. I look older. I'm older than I look. But yeah, I've been around for a while. um, but but yeah, my brother Niner sickness, man. He's just like me. He has his own opinions on his team and the way things are, and he's very blunt, and that's how I am. There's no need to be there's no need to be um, beating around the bush or I hate that the Rams haven't been able to beat the Niners. I hate it. I hate losing to the Niners. I hate the Niners. But I respect them as a team because they show up against us. Let's see. William Bloxon says right, but if we have to accept it, we never score dating back to Jared Goff. Oh, you mean just take the ball and score down the field on the kickoff? Well, I could tell you this with Matthew Stafford, even when we were going good at 7-1, it just seemed like we didn't start off fast. You're right. That's what I mean by a full game. That's how old I am, man. Niner sickness. You're making me say my age now. I think it's bad luck, but yeah, man. But yeah, William, you have a good point. That's my thing. That's very frustrating as a fan. Even when we had Robert Woods, we never seem to start fast, and I think some of that's because we kept our guys out in preseason and we didn't have a rapport. Matthew Stafford needed to, it's one thing to see film, but you get to practice, and if you're not playing in games, the speed of the game, you start getting rapport with guys, and see you got to look like you have a look. You can say, "Hey, Robert, we do," and basically you're going to do that thing, or "Hey, Cup, let's do that thing that we talked about." They still do that, but starting off, I think that was some of it. And then he's in Los Angeles where there's a lot of eyes on him compared to Detroit, and a lot on his shoulders. And he's been as advertised except for the last 3 games. But we've struggled in different places besides him. Well, Niner sickness said you don't hate the Rams because we've been losing to you. So I don't, if we beat you guys 5 times in a row, you'd hate us. But yeah, that. Yeah, but yeah, the Cowboys are something. I don't. That's the thing. I don't hate the Cowboys because we've beat the Cowboys. So I think that's how that goes. I go on my other brother, Niner brother, Mark Holmes's channel, and we go in there and go back and forth. And I tell because he's all pro Dak. I mean, I'm pro Stafford, but I know that he hasn't had great games. He hasn't looked the same. That's why I think that something is wrong. But he's man enough to play with the injuries, and he's getting through it. Um, but hey, Eric Diaz, thank you for coming in, man. Appreciate it. But yeah, with the Cowboys, I go in there with on Mark Holmes' channel. He's a big Dak Prescott Cowboys fan, and I remind him, hey, Jared Goff and McVay are 3-1 against you guys, and we knocked you guys out of the playoffs. And then I go on to explain to him how the Rams have knocked the Cowboys out of the playoffs in 1985. 1979 when we got to the Super Bowl. The next year, Roger Staubach retired, so we basically retired him. And then in 2018, more recently, we knocked them out of the playoffs again. So we go back and forth. But yeah, I don't hate the Cowboys because we've had good success. And Eric Diaz says they started the season with explosive plays and now they are conservative. Not sure why. You have a good point there. What teams are doing now, and they've gotten away with it with Kansas City for a few games, is they're not letting teams like us, explosive teams, get the deep plays, but you can do it as proof with this last game. We were able to get Van Jefferson and OBJ off and deep passes. But that's why the Niners are dangerous too. Back to them because they have a Debo Sanders who can. They have a Debo receiver who's like a running back, big, stocky guy, but fast as heck, and he can get yak yards. You just throw him a quick slant, and he's gone. And that's what we need to implement in our offense. We haven't been doing that, but yeah, it can be done. But we got to set it up with the running game, though. I understand what everybody's saying. Hey, William, 63 years old, started RAMS in 1968 after church in Philadelphia area, but we kicked John Brody. There you go, man. And Ken Williams, asked many day. God bless you, William. Yeah, man. So you know what it's like to, as longtime Ram fans, what it's like to hate the Niners because they've had so much success against us. Unfortunately, in the middle of the Niners heyday in the 80s, we lost our great, and that's the thing that Niners fans don't realize, but they have their own team. Is the great Carol Rosenblum, who assembled the Rams team that went to the Super Bowl and wanted to win, passed away. And so his show, again, the women that shall be nameless. His show, I hate to say this term because it's not PG, but they would call her the showgirl wife, trophy wife, so to say. I'm not saying that. That's what they would say. But she didn't know much about football, and she put a henchman in there, Ram Shaw GM, John Shaw. So I believe if Carol Rosenblum was there, we would have been more a thorn in the Niners' side during their dynasty. Because if you look, the Niners dynasty, they got Wendell Tyler, running back from that 79 Super Bowl Rams team. They got Hacksaw Reynolds from the Rams Super Bowl 79 team. They would pick some of our players off. And Carol Rosenblum hated to lose. And if he was there, we would have been more a thorn in their side. But unfortunately, the lady that shall be nameless was in charge of the team, and ultimately we traded players away like Eric Dickerson, and we could have traded up to get Michael Irvin from Florida with those picks, and John Robinson wanted to pick Thurman Thomas, running back that Bills got, and John Shaw said no. We got some local products, and we didn't do anything with those guys. They didn't turn out, and Rams ended up moving to St. Louis because they were losing, and she wanted to move to her home state. Niners Sickness says, bro, you hate the Niners. It must be hard to see the Rams on a 3-game losing streak. Yeah, man, I hate that. But wow, the Niners have won in the last 3 games. Sorry, taking a low shot. No, it's good. It's all good. See, Niners in this, I hate the 49ers, but I respect what they do. Like when they whipped our ass this last game, I hated it, of course, but that's what they should do. I mean, look how we came out. I mean, in my opinion, forget the Niners for a second. The way we came out and played you guys, not physical at all. Nobody's flying around. Right off the heels of Robert Woods getting hurt. Um, there's a handful of teams that would have beat us that day, and but yeah, I expected you guys to have a better record. I'm surprised that you guys were 3-5. As a Ram fan, I enjoyed it, but I thought you guys, because of all that talent, and whether I know that you guys Garoppolo plays good against us, but he's not that great of a quarterback, and he always gets hurt, but he plays good against us, so props to that. But I expected you guys to have a better record. I expected you guys to start out a little stronger and be up there with us. Like when we were 7-1, I expected you guys to be right around our heels. So now that you guys are on our heels now, but it took for us to lose 3 games. I expected that, but like I said in the beginning of the year, I think it was going to be a dogfight in the NFC West, and it turns out it's going to be the only team that's basically. I never count them out because of Russell Wilson. Is the Seahawks. As long as they have that guy, he's a magician. He's a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm surprised at how I think Pete Carroll is done. Maybe Russell Wilson will leave, and they'll be rebuilding. But yeah, William, we can't sack. He says we can't sack Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, he's done a good job of getting the ball out of his hands. But here's a couple of things that I don't understand. Raheem Morris is a decent defensive coordinator. Again, it's a new coach, so it's taking some time to implement everything. But everybody knows that Jimmy Garoppolo does not have a strong arm and struggles throwing outside the hash marks to the corners, deeper routes. Why do you let him throw straight line up the middle to Debo or Kittle and let him be effective and be able to get the ball out of his hand fast? Make him hold the ball, cover the third downs, get in Kittle's face and go like this to him. Boom, right on his chest. Hold him there for half a second longer so Von Miller and Aaron Donald could come around the side. If you have to have a guy chip him on the way out and then somebody get him, I hate how we let Kittle just go, and he's a great player. He'll get his place. We're not going to stop him. But on key downs, get in his face, mix it up. Don't let him just run willy-nilly, turn around and catch a 3rd and 8. Or, that drives me nuts. But yeah, all the other teams, the game before, they were doing that. They were letting Jimmy Garoppolo throw up the middle. They were making him throw to the end, to the corners, and he didn't have any success. They lost. I don't understand why we don't do that. But yeah, he was able to get the ball out of his hand quick, and then he was able to throw some, and then you let a quarterback get in a roll, and they have good players. But yeah, we didn't make him uncomfortable at all. Frustrating thing, because we've seen him be uncomfortable with other teams that aren't as good as us, and so that's just it's mind numbing. Yeah, William Blackson, you're right, man. Um, uh, Same thing with Aaron Rodgers. We couldn't sack him. We were just right there to a couple. At the end, we started getting to him. I thought one of our guys hit him low. I'm surprised we didn't get a penalty on it. I thought he got hurt. I'm glad he didn't. I hate to see anybody get hurt, but we just can't. That's the thing. We let him have our way with us, and you can't, man. Even with those mistakes, we could have been a little closer. But the one thing that I did like is we were able to open up the long ball again. We did run the ball more. We just got to cut the turnovers, man, and we got to be better on special teams. Let's get short fields now. Let's get maybe one of our defensive backs that doesn't play much has some speed, because there's guys that are multi-talented that can catch balls. Maybe there's a guy that has some wiggle and I would have, if I was McVay and the coaches, I'd have a practice where I kick off to guys, even in the practice squads, and let's try them at kickoff specialists. Maybe you'll find a diamond in the rough, because what we have is pathetic, man. I can go out there and run 3 yards straight ahead and get tackled and drop the ball. I mean, come on, man. Come on, Koski, dude. You're a professional football player. You don't have to be an all-star, but you should be able to do your job, man. Oh man, everybody has a bad game, but that was pathetic, man. That really killed us. And yeah, Niner Space, I respect you, brother, because you hate the team but respect the talent. No, no, I respect the talent, and I respect you too, man. But I just hate that they've lost again. We lost so many times. But yeah, I remember when the Tony Banks era, when we had Tony Banks at quarterback, and we lost so many times. And so yeah, that's why. Um, let's see. So I'm gonna go through some of these I missed here. Niner Sixes. Yes, I'm happy to see the Seahawks in the basement. Yeah, me too. Uh, Troy Reader. Yeah, man, he did the best. He's just not, he can't cover guys. That was killing me too because I'm like, oh man, if you can't cover a guy, cheat a little bit, be a little cunning. Grab the guy's jersey where you can't see it. Rough him up a little bit in the 5-yard area where you can. But yeah, it was killing me. We let old man. What's his name? Number 18. I can't believe I can't remember his name, but we hit him get off him, man. He looked like a young Jerry Rice with those quick slants. Nanderson says Jimmy Garoppolo sucks, but Kyle Shanahan just calls the right plays against your D. Well, yes, we've talked about that before. Kyle Shanahan knows how to win against us. He runs the game, he runs the ball because they're, like I said before, Kyle Shanahan is a great offensive mind. I just don't like him as head coach personally, but make no mistake, he's one of the better offensive minds in the league. When it comes to that, but when he coaches us, he's on his P's and Q's, man. He knows how to get guys where they're going to be successful, and that's all you can ask as a head coach. But then it's weird how he goes off against other teams and doesn't do it. He starts screwing around and doesn't run the ball, and that's why sometimes you guys lose games. But yes, against us, he does, man. And I think he takes it more of a challenge because it's against McVay, his good buddy. But when it comes to that, yeah, man, he knows how to do that against our defense. But then we don't help ourselves either because we come out flat and. Nothing against the Niners, but that game and the way we played, we would have lost to a lot of teams. No effort, no fire. We've lost 4 games in a row before that one to the Niners, and I just didn't see it. I don't understand what's going on. William Black says also hit Stafford low. So yeah, man, we don't get calls. I'm gonna say this, and I'm not crying. Every team says, "Oh, the referees." Aaron Donald has been 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best players in the NFL, period. Basically, he's like the Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant of the NFL. He doesn't get no calls. Every play they can call, yes, I understand it. They can make a call on you, but this is Aaron freaking Donald. And I see him and they're pulling him like this, and they have us. And then you see Aaron Rodgers throw a touchdown pass and do this, and Aaron. And when I'm looking at the replay, I'm like, that's Aaron Donald, dude. Like, I don't know if the Rams have to say something, or if Aaron Donald has to turn into Tom Brady and cry after every call to the refs to get a call. But this is Aaron Donald. It's kind of like Shaq in the back in the day. He did his damage too, but they would hack the shit out of Shaq, and they wouldn't call it. But he doesn't get the calls at all, man. And some of those calls we could use, man, because he's a disruptor and a lot of people are holding him. How are you going to stop that guy? And, you double team him, but even at that point, he can still get in, but he does not get calls. As great as a player he is, coming from a Ram fan who sees every game, he does not get calls, man. Jeez. That's so that sucks that you have a great player like that. He doesn't get the calls. Even Jalen Ramsey, as great as he is, and I'm going to say this, he gets calls. He's been flagged a few times recently, but he gets calls because he's a great player. That's just how it goes. Michael Irvin made a career of he liked to push off a little bit, but that's his style. They weren't called on him. Oh man. Yeah, John Taylor, man. I remember that game. Niner sickness when the Rams, they were having commercials here in Los Angeles. I don't know, it's so many years ago, in 1989. That was basically the Los Angeles Greatest Show on Turf. You had Jim Everett with Henry Ellard and Flipper Anderson and tight end Pete Houlihan and a Greg Bell running back, and we were Jim Everett at that time in an era where you had Dan Marino, John Elway, Joe Montana, Warren Moon. He led the league in touchdowns back-to-back years. The Rams were poised to get to the Super Bowl. The Rams beat the Niners at San Francisco. The Rams were whipping the Niners' ass in Monday Night Football, and then there's John Taylor with he turns two little 7-yard outs, 7-yard post patterns into long touchdowns, and then and we lost like by 3 points, 30-27, and so we split the season, and then we go on the road and we beat the L because now we have the wild card, and we go and we beat New England the last game, and then we beat the LT led Giants on the road in New York. Well, first we beat the Philadelphia Eagles on the road with Jerome Brown and Reggie White. Then we go beat LT and the Giants with Belichick as their defensive coordinator. I remember Flipper Anderson catching the ball from Jim Everett and running through the tunnel. We beat them too. We got 3 offensive linemen banged up because of those wars against the Reggie White, Jerome Brown led Eagles, and then LT and Carl Banks led Giants. So basically, those are 2 Super Bowls right there. And then we're beat up, and 3 offensive linemen were hurt going into a rested 49er team to play him at Candlestick. And so we took the lead 3-0. Ronnie Lott knocked the ball down. It would have been 10-0. And then everything went down from there. And, they got us because our offensive line was beat up, but we showed that in that regular season that we could beat them. Jim Everett with Flipper Anderson and Henry Ellard and Pete Houlihan. And we could stand toe-to-toe with Joe Montana and with Jerry Rice and John Taylor. It was great games. But yeah, we basically had it. We would have had to it was basically whoever won that game, that NFC Championship game in '89, the Rams or Niners, were going to go to the Super Bowl and whip John Elway's ass in the Super Bowl because that's who they beat. But yeah, we had to go on the road and play Jerome Brown and Reggie White on the road, beat them in the fog game, and then we went to the Giants with LT and Carl Banks and all those guys with Bill Belichick as defensive coordinator, beat them, and we're all banged up from those wars. And then we have to go to the Candlestick to play the 49ers rested and ready for us. We got to play those 3 games just to get to the Super Bowl. So, but yeah, those are hell of a memories. Niner Signet says, William Blackson says the refs are in the tank against LA. Skip Bayless hates Skip Bayless. I get mad at Skip Bayless, but that's what he gets paid for. He gets paid very well, millions of dollars. So he likes to cause, he likes to get you riled up. So try not to let it get to you. He still drives me nuts sometimes, but that's what he's there for, to get a show going. And Niner Sinis, yeah, John Taylor had 2 of the best games against the Rams. Yeah, John Taylor was awesome, man. He was the perfect consummate a side player next to Jerry Rice. And Niner Sinis says, if Trey Lance becomes anything close to Russell Wilson, the games between the 49ers will be fun to watch. Yeah, Trey Lance has a lot of raw ability. I don't like personally how they brought him along, but he's got, he can be mobile and break down the defense. He's got a lot of potential. He's just very raw and young, but yeah, who knows? Hopefully Matthew Stafford will still be there with us. We have a young quarterback, a young backup quarterback that I like. In a Bryce Perkins. He's mobile, and I see him. Give me an idea of his skill set. He's got a good arm, strong arm. He kind of has a long windup though, but it reminds me of a kind of a not saying he's good as him, but this is style, the way he throws the ball. It looks like he's just flicking it and it goes fast. Is Randall Cunningham, but I seen him hurdle a guy against the Raiders, I think it was. So it gives you an idea of his mobility. It was like 3rd and something. He's trying to get playing time, trying to come back, and he hurdled a guy to get the first down. And he's very agile in the pocket. I really see him beating Wolford for next year for the backup role. He's 3rd string right now, but I think we have a pretty good quarterback in the wings in him. We end up keeping 3 quarterbacks this year because he played so good. So we'll see what happens. Maybe ultimately it'll be Trey Lance and Bryce Perkins with the Rams, mobile guys. Um, let's see. William Blockson says Skip said Odell Beckham is messing up. Come on, I hate people say that. He's been great. If you saw last game, he got hit in his lower back, and he was out there playing and wants to win. No, just the idea of Odell Beckham, you want to get him the ball. That's all. That's like saying, oh, this guy um, is a star athlete player, and because we're trying to get him the ball, that messes up the quarterback. No, no, he's been fine with us. Skip Bayless is just trying to stir something up. William Black says we beat them twice that year, if not mistaken. Um, what year? What year are you talking about, William? I'm sorry, the '89 season. Oh yeah, Niner sickness. Yeah, great memories. Yeah, I really respect the Niners franchise, man, because they had great players. I loved Ronnie Lott because I'm a USC fan because of John Robinson was at USC, and then we got John Robinson as a coach. John Robinson is the all-time winningest coach in Rams history. Not Dick Vermeil, not Sean McVay might be on his way. People don't realize that he's unsung. He didn't get the hardware because it was right a smack dab of the Niners dynasty, but he was a great coach, man. I really loved him, man. Jr. was an awesome coach with USC and the Rams. Um, but yeah, he knew the running game, man. He knew the running game, the I formation, Eric Dickerson, pitch back to Eric Dickerson, and lead blockers coming around, Jackie Slater, Duval Love, Tom Newberry, smacking people. That's what we need to do with our team, man. Get Big J, get Big Wentworth out, rolling out and smacking the shit out of somebody, and let's get some physical yards, man. That's not the team that we are, but I like for us to mix some of that in, and you can't just do that overnight. That's the problem. That's the problem is you can't just turn into a team that you haven't been. That starts in preseason. That starts with acquiring a couple of guys on the O line that can do that, and then we'll be on our way. But make no mistake, if we had Cam Akers, this would be a different Rams team. In the beginning of the year, we would have been a lot more explosive because that guy can go to the house and drag guys on his way. Yeah, I understand that. Skip Bayless, that guy kills me because besides what he says, he's such a homer, cowboy homer, and he kisses the ass of Tom Brady. The Clippers too, with Kawhi Leonard. He'll put his jersey on, his hat on. He's a LeBron hater and Lakers hater. But yeah, that's what he's there for. He makes a lot of money. He drives us nuts. Um, William Black says, I think he's ready. Um, yeah, man. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Niner Signet says, I respect the Rams franchise as well. Great Hall of Fame played for the Rams. Yeah, thank you, brother. Yeah. That's the thing. I wish that with the new Rams franchise coming to Los Angeles, they don't even have a ring of. I love so I call it SoFly Stadium. Oh, AB, number 8. Yeah. I got you, William. I love SoFly Stadium. It's the greatest stadium in USA sports. It's amazing. I'm not saying just because it's Rams Stadium. I've seen it. I'm a Rams season ticket holder. I just wish they had a Ring of Honor, and we had the Fearsome Foursome. Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce. They should have statues, in my opinion, of the Fearsome Foursome there. Um, Isaac Bruce, catching the touchdown pass from Warner. Warner on the other side throwing it to him, and the pose statues. And who cares if our little brother, the Chargers are there? They're just renting our building. We should put those up, man, because we need to embrace the legacy of the Rams. Even that's what I say. Ramelia is another word for family. People say Ramley. It's just a play on our word. I like the word Ramelia. Ramelia. That's what I use that for. It means family. We're all family. The Niners say Niners Empire. Uh, you know, um, other teams say whatever nation, some people say Rams Nation. That's fine, but that's not really our thing, uh, really. But I understand. But we need to embrace our rich history. Like I said before, the Ram franchise. We don't have a lot of hardware. We've got 2 NFL championships and 1 Super Bowl, but we've always been in the thick of things. Every decade except for the 1937, we either won the championship or were involved in the championship game. Again, 1937, we were established. 1945, the Cleveland Rams won the NFL championship. 1951, the Los Angeles Rams won the championship in Los Angeles. 1960s, with the Fearsome Foursome and Roman Gabriel, we were in championship games. At that time, they call it something else, but we weren't able to get there, but we were at least involved in that. In 1970s, the 79 Super Bowl versus the Steelers. The 1980s, 2 NFC championship games in 1985 and 89. The 90s, 1999 world champion Los Angeles, world champion at that time, St. Louis Rams. 2000s, 2001 and 2018 getting to the Super Bowl. So yeah, man, we have a rich history. We don't have to take a backseat to anybody. The hardware would be amazing to have more hardware, but you could be in a time machine and go to any decade of the Rams existing except for the first 1937, and the Rams are always involved in a championship game. So that's pretty amazing. Niner Sickness says, I always tell Raider fans the empire is bigger than a nation, and gold is worth more than silver. That's a good one, man. I gotta say something. We all go back and forth with our teams. They call us the Lambs. Uh, some of us call when we're being fun, we call it the Whiners, the Cowgirls. We have all these teams for our rival teams. The Seahawks have been called a few things, but the that chant is so like chalkboard. That Raider. I have a buddies, and my sisters and my dad are Raider fans. But that Raiders, oh man, I don't mind it, but they keep doing that and doing that. I'm like, oh my god, it reminds me of that. I don't know if you guys know the name of it, but put in the comments if you remember it. The Tyler Perry movie where the girl keeps saying Brian. I can't remember the name. But she keeps saying Brian. It was really annoying in that movie. That reminds me of the Raiders chat. Raider. I gotta do a meme when it says Raiders. William Block says the Rams win in Miami was equal to a Super Bowl. Yeah, man. It's unfortunate that the teams don't get like the Packers too. I agree with that. Uh, uh, it's unfortunate that the NFL championship doesn't get the props that it deserves. They should list it with the Super Bowls because it's a championship. I mean, at that time, that's what the NFL had to offer. You won the greatest award available for the NFL. There was less teams and it was different, yes, but that doesn't mean anything. Look at the 1927 Yankees. There wasn't black players playing in the World Series, and they still acknowledge that. I mean, why don't they put asterisks on the championships that black or minority players weren't able to play? Some of them, So to me, a championship is a championship. I mean, if my grandfather was a Ram fan in 1951 or 1945 and they won the championship, are you telling me that doesn't mean nothing to him? He's a Ram fan just like me. He followed the team, and that was oh yes, it wasn't as big as now, but that's the championship that your team won. The other teams didn't. So they should acknowledge that a little more, in my opinion. It's not a Super Bowl because it's different, but we want to be, Roger Goodell and the guys and owners want to be in Europe. They want to have London, NFL. What if they change the name to something else like the World Super Bowl or something? Does that mean the Super Bowl doesn't mean nothing because they changed the name? To me, we're 3-time world champions. three-time NFL champions. We have one Super Bowl and two NFL championships to be technical, but we've won three times, and we're one of the only teams, I think, maybe the only team to win championships in three different cities. Cleveland Rams in 1945, LA Rams 1951, and St. Louis Rams 1999. So I think that's something to be said. It says uh 96. It sucks that the only Super Bowl the Rams have had to be in St. Louis, bro. That's a shame. Well, you know what, Niner sickness, I've heard that argument before, but let me tell you something about that Super Bowl. So let's look at that. That 1999 Super Bowl, yeah, I wish it would have been in Los Angeles. If the Greatest Show on Turf was in Los Angeles, the Raider fan contingent wouldn't be so great as it is here. If we would have won the Super Bowl, we had those teams here, because the Greatest Show on Turf was better than any Raider teams they ever had. Um, but um, but that Rams Super Bowl, it was won in Atlanta. Technically, they were the St. Louis Rams, but because they played in Atlanta in that Super Bowl. But Georgia. But there were four starters on that Ram team. Isaac Bruce was drafted at Los Angeles Rams. He made the game-winning catch. Todd Light. There was two other guys. They wore LA Rams throwback uniforms. So in my estimation, especially because Isaac Bruce was drafted by the Los Angeles Rams, he was an original Los Angeles Ram. The Rams, the Los Angeles team, has as much to do with that as St. Louis, being just because they were in St. Louis. But it's all Ramelia. It doesn't matter. Just like the Niners are. It's not as far, but they're in Santa Clara now. If they were to win a Super Bowl, they call them the San Francisco 49ers, or not in a different state, but that's miles and miles away. But that's the way I look at it. Isaac Bruce was a Los Angeles Ram. He made the game-winning catch. We had Todd Light and two other starters on that team. They were Ram throwbacks, so that's the way I look at it. And we lost the other Super Bowls, unfortunately, and they were wearing St. Louis colors. But it's all Ramelia. My Ram brothers, St. Louis and Cleveland, all over the world. We're all Ramelia. As long as we win, that's all that counts. The name Rams is all that matters. It's always like we used to say when they went to St. Louis, it's loyalty over location. I got Ram brothers and sisters that are in Guam and Hawaii. They go on they watch my channel and they comment. God bless them. And another says, "I'm sorry, William Blockson. My apologies. May have been here for a minute, and I haven't said hello. Nice to you, Niner Cygnus and William Blockson. Rams versus Patriots, personal fouls hit on Bruce and Holt. Oh man, William, you're taking you're hitting me in a sore spot there, man. The Patriots. I'm gonna say this. Okay, so if we would have played that Patriots team that we lost to 2001 10 times, we beat them 9 times. They were lucky to win that game, but they won it. We roll out a Marshall Faulk because Tom Brady wasn't Tom Brady. He was just some wide-eyed kid that had a decent game, but it wasn't a great game if you look at his stats. They were getting away with holding our receivers. Another USC product, their linebacker. I can't remember his name, but their linebacker was grabbing Marshall Faulk, even tackled him, and then he even said after the game, there was a couple times I'm surprised they didn't even call it. They tackled Marshall Faulk out of the backfield, and and that's what got me so mad at that time because we had at that time the greatest offense in the NFL's ever seen for a 3 to 4 year run. And we weren't getting calls. It's kind of like how I get mad about Aaron Donald not getting calls. Kurt Warner would get smashed, and they wouldn't give us calls. He'd be fixing his shoulder pads all the time. And they protected the Tom Brady's, not at that time, but the Joe Montanas. They protected quarterbacks, but it was a little more physical then. But our receivers, they were holding. Finally, they had to come out with the 5-yard rule where you can't do that. But if we would have got some of those calls, we would have got it. We were just going up the field, and when we got to the 20-yard line, 25-yard line. They were starting to hold, and they weren't bad calls. A couple of those calls would have went our way. We would have blew them out. But yeah, then you have the Spygate. Even with them taping our practice, we were so good. Mike Martz. I wish Dick Vermeil was still the head coach at that time. Dick Vermeil would rein Mike Martz out in. He would be so, um, so try to be so cute with some. We'd run like an end around on the 3-yard line and stuff. He was great as he coaches the offensive mind. We had that, but yeah, we should have won that one. In 2018, we should have won that one. Going into the fourth quarter, we're down 3-0, even without a hurt Todd Gurley and no Cooper Kupp. I still can't believe that, but yeah, the Patriots are a sore spot for me. Yeah, Willie McGinnis, William Blackson. Thank you for telling me. Yeah, Willie McGinnis, a great USC player again. He tackled Marshall Faulk, and he said I did that a couple of times. They asked him about it, and he said he's surprised they didn't call it. But what can you do? You got to win in that day. Whatever it is. And Niner City says, "Hey, bro, before the Rams were originally LA Rams, what city did they originally play in?" Well, that's what I was saying, Niner City. The Rams were the Cleveland Rams. Hey, my brother Jay in the Bay, how you doing, man? What's good, Ramley? Before the Rams were in Los Angeles, they were originally the home of the Cleveland Rams, and then they went to Los Angeles. And when they were in Cleveland in 1945, the Cleveland Rams won the NFL championship. And then in 1951, the Los Angeles Rams won the championship in Los Angeles, first franchise to win the championship before the Lakers and Dodgers. And then they went to St. Louis, and they won a Super Bowl. So, before LA, they were in Cleveland. So Cleveland is the original home, but Los Angeles is we say home in Los Angeles because they were there for the longest. They were there for 40 plus years, whereas in St. Louis they were 21 years, and then in Cleveland it was even less. So that's why we say that's their real home, because they were in Los Angeles longer, and they did win a championship there too. But yeah, I'm glad to see my Niner brothers Jay in the Bay and Niner Sickness in here. I appreciate it, guys. Oh man, I gotta go. I gotta get ready for work, brothers. Thank you for coming in, Jay. Hopefully, I'll see you again in here soon, guys. I appreciate. I'm looking forward to playing you guys that last game. Hopefully, we'll have a similar record and go all for broke. And I hope we play better. But thank you guys for coming in. I gotta take off. The Rams owner asked for university permission to take the Rams mascot, and Horace checked it out. Yeah, man. If you read into the Rams history, the Rams were one of the first teams to sign black players. A year before Jackie Robinson went to the Dodgers, it's amazing the Rams history. One of the first teams to have they painted the Ram horns on their leather helmets. On and on, man. There's a lot of firsts that the Ram franchise have done. Jay in the Bay says, can't wait for the last game. Yes, of the season. As a Laker fan, I tell you, the fan base of Lakers were from Minnesota. Yeah, that's true too, man. Minneapolis Lakers. Thank you, Jay in the Bay and Niner Center for coming in, and William Blockson. Tony Grace, I'm sorry I didn't see you, brother. Yeah, McVay needs to do better, man. Yes, he does. But thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate it. I'll be doing more of these streams more, and thank you, Jay in the Bay. Yeah, I'll have a video about that. It's really interesting, man. If you get a chance, Woody Strode, I think, was one of the players. One of them was from UCLA. It's very amazing topic. The Rams were one of the first teams to sign black players a year before Jackie Robinson in baseball. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's amazing. I know your team, you're worried about your team, but yeah, it's amazing history. A lot of people don't realize, and that's one thing that I wish this franchise would show more. But thank you guys. Everybody have a good day. God bless you guys for coming in. Appreciate it. As we always say, may the Ramelia be with you, and Ramulators, mount up.